possible that God is bragging on you. And may I heard during the prayer hour that one of the prayers said that if you hear the devil in your ear range, his voice is up too loud. And I need to help you understand that the enemy has power. But don't you understand that if you're going through a storm, you need to start rejoicing right away, realizing that God has put a limit on what the enemy can do to you. You got to understand that if you're going through a storm got a beginning and it got an end. You can decide how you go through the storm, but the storm's going to come. Just because you say some storms will come. But I heard Paul write in Romans 8:28, for all things work together for good for them that love the Lord and are the called. I wish I had one or two witnesses in here that you decided that you're going to bless God regardless of what it looked like, regardless of what you're going through, because God just might be bragging on you. It may be possible that God is trying to get something out of you. It may be possible that when you can't explain it and when folk are around you silently, that God has put some destiny in you, that you don't go through and go through the crushing, go through the trial, go through the tribulation, go through the pain, then you won't know how to progress to the glory, to the praise, to the worship, to the honor, and to the position where God wants you to be. So when I look here at this text, Job lifts up a funny thing. He uses these words, though he slay. Well, it's hard because sometimes you feel like God is against you. That's right. You are having the witnesses in here. Oh, you ask any expected mother that's sitting up in a delivery room. She's asking the question, how long do I have to go through this labor? You ask any person that's waiting on a cancer report and they're waiting for that biopsy to come back and they sitting in the doctor's office and they ask themselves, how long do I have to go through this? You ask an unemployed person who knows bills are going to come at the first of the month and they asking the question, how long do I have to go through? And then you see everybody else around you coming out. You tithing, you giving offering, you worshiping, you praising, you trusting, you believing, you laying hands on yourself, you praying for your neighbor, you forgiving everybody else, and you catching all the hell. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, you on it. And you feel like you're between a rock and a hard place. I said I'm only talking to two people whose tears fall down at night. But I want to encourage you, his anger is only for a moment, and in his favor is life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In the morning. So he said, though he slay. It's amazing when you think God is killing you when he's trying to raise you. And Job lays out a funny question, though he slay me. I don't know what's going on. Now, I don't know the devil has got free rent over me. I don't know God is bragging on me. I don't have a clue. All I know, I'm sick, I'm broke, and I'm fatherless. And I want to know, yea, though he slay me, I think I still need to trust him. Yeah, when you're going through and you feel like you can question God. Does anybody know you can question your dad? Does anybody know you can ask him questions? Does anybody know you can have a conversation with him? You can have a dialogue with him. You can ask him how. So it gets to be a point, as I got with my 3 minutes left, it gets to be a time, it gets to be a point when you got to get to the point in your Christian life. You don't ask God how long, you just say, I trust. That's it. That's it. That's it. Now, understand, that's difficult when your flesh has not been tamed to your spirit. Yes. That's difficult when you have not practiced how to trust him even when you can't see him. And I know the theme was showing, and I always understood and asked the question, how could Fanny Crosby write Blessed Assurance when she was a blind woman, but when she got to the trust part, she said, visions of rapture now burst on my sight. That means when you get to the point that you're going to walk by faith and not by sight, no matter what you're going through, when you get into a point of prayer, God will take you to another. Yes, he will. Yes, sir. Yes, have word of patience because I'm only talking to two people. He said, though he slay me, yet.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, God.
Broke.
Yes.
I'm going to trust him.
That's right.
Yes.
Sick.
Yes.
I'm going to trust him.
Yes.
Children dead. I'm going to trust him.
Yes.
Spouse acting crazy. I'm going to trust him. My boys in front of me looking crazy, but I'm going to trust him. Can't explain what I'm going through, but I decided in my spirit I will still.
Yes, sir.
Yes, God.
Yes, sir.
Yes, God. Yes, Lord. Hallelujah.
I looked at the Lord. Not only did he say I'm going to trust him, I'm going to maintain my way
Yes.
before him.
That's right.
Meaning I'm not going to judge him unnecessarily.
All right. Yes, sir.
I'm not going to form an opinion before it's time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bust up my blessing before the harvest come forth. Because even though it feels like you in the grave, look at somebody say resurrection coming anyhow. And I can't go through resurrection unless I go through my cross, unless I go through my grave.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, I end with this. And with the story about Miss Mary Johnson. And Miss Mary Johnson believed God in spite of everything.
That's right.
And they were in the midst of a famine. She was a part of a Southern church. And they was in the midst of a famine. And they realized that if they did not get any rain, their crops would not grow.
That's right.
And if their crops would not grow, then they wouldn't be able to raise no crops. And they wouldn't be able to get no money. And they would not be able to work. They would not, some farmers know what I'm talking about. And they would not be able to harvest. So all of a sudden, the pastor decided he's going to call a prayer meeting. They couldn't explain the famine. They couldn't understand the family. But Sister Johnson knew something about God. And so in the midst of it, while they were all down at the prayer center, they heard somebody coming way out the background in some boots, some raincoat, and an umbrella. And all the kids started laughing at her, saying Miss Sister Johnson don't have a clue. What's she coming down the dusty road with boots, with a raincoat, and an umbrella? And when Sister Johnson got there, I heard we were praying for rain. And then I believe that rain is coming. I have to put on my rain. If you want to maintain your way before him, you got to learn to bless him before it comes. Because you believe that it's coming. When somebody says glory.